Kenny Holt, what's the vibe? Friday night, talk to me. How we doing?
Friday night, it's warm outside.
Bro.
Question, Randy, why is the young kids wearing Nike Tech with shiesties full on their head? It's 85 degrees.
It's New York, man. It's springtime, summertime. You know the vibes. It just,
Look,
it's
bro,
it's what the kids wear nowadays. We're not young no more like that, Kenny.
to wear a whole wetsuit,
It don't
sweat
matter,
box, a ski mask with no sun, with no no snow.
bro. People in New York wear Tims in summertime. You think that's it happens. It's New York.
You wear Tims with shorts. I've done that.
Oh
Everyone's
yeah,
done
but I'm
that.
talking about summertime. Do you wear Tims in the summertime?
I have.
Oh God, why?
Yo, it's just the outfits, the
Bro, I'm
fashion.
saying it's hot, bro. You ain't got no sandals, no kicks.
See, that's the thing. I got
Tims.
kicks. I got kicks. I always
Come
got
on,
kicks.
man. Don't let's
But if I ain't by no beach or by no pool, I ain't wearing no flops, no sandals. Or I'm going to the store, I ain't wearing that.
I'm not saying wear sandals all day, but you can just like, hey, go to the store, do a little walk or whatnot. I'm like, but Tim's crazy. Tim's do not go on my feet past 40 degrees, 45. It
Sometimes
was
you might
50 plus. I'm no Tim's for me, bro. Nah,
look,
we're not doing that.
look, man. What if you go back to a throwback? You probably got a throwback mellow jersey, the
I
blue
do.
jean, the blue shorts, and wear some butters. That
Ice
goes.
is good. We here, we live.
What about
Um,
that goes, Randy? A mellow
yeah.
jersey, blue jeans, white tee, some butters.
Which mellow? The Denver Nugget.
The Denver Nugget 2004, the blue, baby blue,
I had the
away
white one.
jersey.
I got the white
I had
one.
the blue one. I had the baby blue away.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
I got mine's autographed by Melo, so I can't wear it no more.
Well, you beat me to that. I can't. I got
Come
nothing
on.
to say.
We're gonna help you with that one day, bro.
I was in middle school. I got a lot of jerseys buried somewhere in my mother's house. I gotta go find 'em.
If you're watching us live, thank you. We appreciate you. I think 50 plus already chimed in. We are doing this post show following
Yeah.
SmackDown. At the same time, you see on my right over here, we are monitoring Game 6, Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. If the Rockets win, we get a Game 7 on Sunday.
I think Sunday we could
If
have
the
had a game.
Warriors win, we get Warriors and Minnesota in round 2. So a very interesting time in the NBA playoffs. My boy Kenny is a diehard Detroit Pistons fan. I am the
Yeah.
diehard New York Knicks fan. So last night we were going back and forth and stuff like that. So Knicks advance. Jalen Brunson game winner, Game 6 on the road. Brunson burner in Detroit. Love it. And now we get the Boston Celtics in. So we'll see how we fare up with the defending champions.
Man,
If you're
heartbreak.
watching live on YouTube or X, thank you. We appreciate you. Any questions, comments, feedback regarding from SmackDown tonight, even Raw a few days ago, anything pertaining to Backlash, which is next weekend. Hit us up in the chat. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music. Go to youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Go ahead, download, rate, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for your boys on the program. Also, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Cruise Control for the latest 2 out of 3 Falls podcast t-shirt. Again, prowrestlingtees.com/Cruise Control. Again, we appreciate your love and support for the program. So Kenny Holt, SmackDown ended. What do we have here?
18 minutes ago.
I appreciate you, Isaac. Man, we love the support. I'm still waiting on my boy Terrence. Got some tech issues with the laptop, so hopefully he'll be on soon. So Kenny, let's get to some things outside the ring before we get to SmackDown. Or do you want to start with SmackDown? Because I was going back and forth with it, not too much. I got the Warriors behind me, but I saw the main event, Jade and Tiffy against Nia and Naomi. I saw a couple other matches, Ray Phoenix, saw an Orton promo, but did SmackDown really stand out to you tonight?
I would say it was SmackDown felt kind of heavy. It was very I would say
Yeah, we know why.
it was very tainted, as you know, we're about to go over now. But yeah, you can almost feel like, you know, we probably said last week, you know, a lot of things simmer. You gotta be patient with it. But with the news, I guess we've heard earlier before, it just really felt like a different way. And you could see it in some of the performers, some wrestlers' actions, maybe their faces as well, ways. But on SmackDown, you know, it's looking good with it's looking something with the women's card on SmackDown. Jade.
Hold on. Go back in and get Terrence in here. There we go. Oh, this is wonderful. This is beautiful.
I'm having technical difficulties, but
you look clear as day, bro.
It's all good, bro.
We in there. You know
we got Terrence, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All the way.
The scribe has come back. 2 out of 3 falls. What up, y'all? My bad.
All the way from Oregon, Portland, Oregon, but not a Knicks fan, but not a Trailblazers fan.
Whoa, come on, Kenny. You know I'm a Laker fan from New York. You know that.
That's right. He's a native New Yorker, but
I'm a Pistons fan from the Bronx, and I am sick.
That's crazy. Yeah,
that's
Pistons
worse.
fan from
that's
the Bronx.
The worst.
That's worse.
Let me tell you, man. Half of everyone right now that grew up with were either a Mac or a Kobe fan, and don't even cheer for the Knicks. Like, please.
Are you right?
Like, please. Right. I grew up watching. I always watched the Knicks because that was the team. I could know more the Knicks history than half of real Knicks fans. Please.
That's crazy.
So I don't want to hear it. But
no smoke, Kenny. You're right. I want no smoke. You got it.
My man said that you got it, champ. You got it. Noob, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Always a ride or die for the program. Today is The Rock's birthday. Yeah, so you know.
Yeah, he did the promotion for him.
Birthday to the final boss, the people's champion, The Rock, TKO guy, head of board of directors, whatever you want to call him. So, you know, I think he's 50. He's mid-50s. Wow.
Like 53.
I think 53.
Oh, 53.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
The Rock is 53.
Yeah, yo, it's crazy because I was just watching. I'm catching up on SmackDown, right? Obviously, I'm behind you guys. So I saw the promo for Cena and Orton, and it said 25-year foe. And I was like, damn. And they both kind of, you know, looking a little older. Not old. They get it, you know, they do their thing. But
yeah,
all it made me think was like, yo, we need that Rock versus Roman match tomorrow because my man is 53. And what do they think is going to look like in a year or two?
Now you're right. I'm getting the TikTok. So we put the video out and got a few responses. So real quick, someone said hot take: Roman don't even want to do the match. You could tell he's kind of over the pump faking on the Rock's end. Plus the bloodline piece of it all is over. No point. Someone said bye-bye. Maybe SummerSlam. Rock's already a heel. Roman's in tweener face mode. You have to sell out 2 nights of this event. It makes sense. They tried it, and the fans did not want it. It's no longer happening. I think it hasn't happened because they both probably want a title to be a part of the match, to have high stakes. Cody ruined it. The Rock is in his Hogan era, so he ain't wrestling to lose, not even to Roman. Also, if the issue is with Hunter is real and not a work, he won't be back for a while. When it didn't happen last year, I lost hope. It's time we move on from the Rock and Roman. Rock wants to win, and that's what we are waiting on. So a lot of diverse responses on the Rock and Roman not happening. That's on our TikTok. We're also on TikTok, 2 out of 3 Falls Pod. Go ahead and follow there. Do you agree, disagree with any of the those responses, Kenny, from TikTok?
I could see the people's frustrations for it because it gets very annoying, and we start from one end, but then we're back in the same point, and it just really makes people frustrated. So I mean, at this point, it's like we want to see the match. We want to see the match. We don't care how or what, but we're hearing about all these contingencies about it got to be a title. It has to be at a certain time. Something has to build for, but we wanted to see the match was primed to happen at 40 at WrestleMania, but everyone wanted Cody to finish the story. I mean, we all did. I wanted it too, but
yeah,
I feel like if they went with the original plan, then this wouldn't ruin the idea. If you would have built that up, that match could have took place at WrestleMania 41. That could have done at WrestleMania 41 or prior, and people would have been like, it would have been fresh, and people would have been excited for it. But they introduced it, but then they cut it. That's when people really got upset and pissed about it.
Yeah, hold on. I see you.
What?
Hold on, let me try again, man. Terrence, your screen is black, but I know you're in here. Yeah, but your screen is black.
I got a message saying I was backstage. I don't know what happened. That was weird. But
well, you're here, but we just can't see you. I'm back now.
Wait, you can't see me still?
No, like John Cena, we can't see you.
Let me try to jump back in. Give me 1 second.
All good, we got you. So Kenny, my fault. You were talking about SmackDown. So what were just like the high points of SmackDown?
High points: the women's
main event,
the women's division for Tiffany, Jade, Nia Jax, and Naomi is starting to cook. I see that they all want to be a part into the the world title. So eventually, I think that we might get some type of fatal 4-way. I think it might happen at Backlash.
Okay.
One main highlight, I would say, Randy came out, cut his promo about John. He's basically going to take place, says the puppeteer.
Yeah.
But, I think also one main big thing, I think where we were talking about it last week in the last few weeks was for the U.S. title, we're getting Damian Priest, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, and Damian Priest.
That's 3 guys. Damian, LA Knight,
and Drew
McIntyre, and Fatu.
A 4-way for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
And one thing that stood out wasn't like everyone cheered for it was Solo Sikoa talked to Nick Aldis and said, You're screwing with Jacob. And Aldis looked at him and said, No, I'm not. That's you. And
so the seed has been planted to where you're gonna finally get Jacob and Solo.
Yeah, and you just saw he had the look, so we're probably gonna get that some way down the line. Might cost him, or he might try to foil his plan. Maybe Solo might face off against Jacob for the title.
Yeah.
But that was a push. They introduced that. They just recapped the tag team match. Zelina had her first match after winning the U.S. title against Piper Nevins. But prior to that, not much. T, what do you think about? How do you feel about now? We're going to get for the U.S. title your boy Jacob, Damian, Drew, and LA Knight in a fatal 4-way at Backlash.
So I know Terrence may not be totally caught up on SmackDown, so that match became official for Backlash, the fatal 4-way. Kenny's mentioning Drew, Jacob, Damian, LA Knight.
Drew McIntyre.
I guess they love these fatal 4-ways, these triple threat kind of multi-man matches, and we see how it went down at WrestleMania. Fatal 4-way with the men's. I don't know about the women's stuff. So the women ended off with Jade, Tiffy, Naomi, and Nia Jax. Okay, boom, got you. I like how it ended. Jade with the powerbomb on Nia. And then you see the little tension between Jade and Tiffany with the championship in their hands. Hey, throw the background. So now I'm like, all right, so there's nothing official for Backlash with any of these 4 women. Now I'm like, all right, so if you're gonna do something at Backlash, is it for the championship between? Oh, so Jade and Nia go 1-on-1. The winner gets Tiffany at Backlash. Okay.
But I feel like Naomi's gonna involve herself in it because Jade is in there.
And I think it'd be a little too early for that. I think. So what? Then you spawn off into 2 matches for Backlash with Naomi and Jade again. They run it back, and Nia and Tiffany for the title.
Would you have them draw it out for, and then the next pay-per-view you bring them all 4 together?
Which the next show would be
after Backlash is
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Well, Money in the Bank is in June.
Money in the Bank is next.
Would you really have all 4 of them in a title match with a title hanging above the ring? Or just a fatal 4-way?
I don't even think you do 4-way. I think it's let me check. Money in the Bank, right? So before that, guys, NXT's Battleground. A Saturday Night Main Event is prior. Then, so Backlash, Saturday Night Main Event. Then you have Money in the Bank. So what I'm thinking is, I like your idea of Nia getting a victory due to interference from Naomi, which causes Jade. You run that back at Backlash. You have Tiffany and Nia for the title again. I mean, you might as well go there. I know we're going to talk about the releases in a second, but if you want to go there, I know we're in May.
Right.
Money in the Bank, who do you have as like your early? I can see her win Money in the Bank. I can see him win Money in the Bank. Like, who are some options right now that you can see? You know what? I think they're the favorites to be, if they're in the match, the favorites to be Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank.
I could pick one easily for the women. I would give it to Naomi. I could see Naomi winning Money in the Bank. She's very much a crowd favorite, and just like how I could see Naomi doing a trick where she tries to uphold and steal a title match and getting a win, probably stealing it from someone. I think you give it to Naomi. You give her that opportunity to have that type of drive, that power. I mean, she's introducing a new character, and you give that push. Naomi is able to, her category of what she's been through, working with the big 3, coming back from the Royal Rumble. Let me just say that. And then you have a lot with that. She will be a top contender, a top runner. She went from working with the 3, working as a fill-in for the tag team titles. Then she's in this rift between Bianca and Jade. And now she's in this rift with SmackDown with Jade. So you give her that push, you give her that, and that's going to probably elevate more of what's going to probably be drawn out maybe down the line. Bianca says she wants to come back to SmackDown. And we still don't know what's still being withheld between Naomi and Bianca. There's something there that we're still not being seen yet. And we still want to know what is the rift. Naomi still mentions Bianca. And, Bianca says she has unfinished business on SmackDown. So if you bring that in with Naomi winning the Money in the Bank, I think you got something that's going to be pretty good on that SmackDown, for that SmackDown title. Give her the SmackDown title, keep her that. If she wins the Money in the Bank, she may cash it in prior, she might try to start cashing in, maybe at SummerSlam, maybe the night after when she wins. It just might be for the men's. It's pretty tough. It would be easy to give it to one of the proteges, like, I don't know, a Damian Priest. No, not Damian Priest. Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker.
I could see winning one, but I feel like they're gonna have him in a different story, in a different push.
Mm-hmm. Like right now, who aside from Braun Breaker can benefit from that briefcase, that contract? I mean, uh,
I,
we've had Drew win it. We've had Damian win it. Obviously, you're not gonna put fucking Roman into Money in the Bank. I mean,
no,
that'd be interesting, but
no.
I don't see that right now. You're not putting Seth. You're not putting John Cena. You're not putting Randy Orton. You're not putting Cody Rhodes. You're not. You're down to maybe Braun. You're down to maybe Carmelo. You're down to.
I have two.
Hold on. I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
LA Knight.
Sami Zayn.
Mm.
The Sami Zayn could be interesting because
he never has.
He's never won a title.
Mm.
He's not going to go to SmackDown on the orders of Seth Rollins' new group. He could cash in right now with Cena, and then the other champ is Uso. Does he win the Money in the Bank and try to cash it on Jey Uso? That'd be some very entertaining TV. Cause I see Uso defeating Logan Paul at Backlash. I mean, that could be very interesting if Sami is the guy to win Money in the Bank. Depending on how long Uso is champion for, could cash in on him. That'd be interesting. Aside from Sami, because if Dom was an IC champ, I probably would have said Dom, but he don't need that now. I think I'm down to Braun and I'm down to Sami Zayn. KO is out. Who else? Penta, no. Logan Paul, no.
Those three that you mentioned, I would give it to. If I was to say those three,
not Punk.
No, not Punk. Those you said three names that actually were intrigued, and I would give it to either Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, or Carmelo, because the rise is what Carmelo's rising up and coming star. Braun Breaker speaks for itself in the fraction, and Sami Zayn, someone who has never even had an opportunity to win the title, had opportunities to compete for it, but as much as he always likes to fight, always the fight in him, the dog is in him to fight, it would just give it a real good opportunity to push for it. So if whoever's to win Money in the Bank for the men, it's either Braun, Carmelo, or Sami, and I think it's both deserving out of those three.
So Terrence, before you got back on, I saved the conversation for the releases once you got back on, but we're on this Money in the Bank thing because that's the next show at the Backlash, and who we have as far as early favorites or who could benefit from it right now the most from the female side and the men's side.
Man, I'm a little sad because when you mentioned the female side, I thought it was Dakota Kai, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm really sad to see her go. I know I don't want to dive too much into that. Obviously, it was everybody's, but she would have been my pick. But since she can't be, maybe someone from NXT. I mean, I think that's what some of the moves were about today. I think there's going to be a big rise of all ships, I guess you could say. So from the women's side, I think I'd probably go Roxanne Perez. It's no surprise how much I'm a big fan. But I think the thing about the Money in the Bank winner is they got to have that talk factor to me. You know what I mean? Because they got to tease, oh, maybe I'd win it, maybe I use it. And I think
a heel.
Well, somewhat, because I feel like Damian was able to he frustrated us all because we were like, yo, come use it. But it just ended up being he had one of the most ill cash-ins of all time, right? I'm just saying you got to make it interesting. So it has to be someone that whether the crowd considers you heel or a face, it still has to be fun. You got to have a dynamic that kind of keeps us on our, on our toes as fans as to when you would cash in. And I think Roxanne has that. From the men, I definitely agree with you, Kenny, on the Carmelo side. I think we're all just waiting to see what they do with them. I think an interesting one, and even though I know I just said like, oh, okay, like how would they play it? It probably would have been Dom, but since Dom already has a whole play, I'm gonna go Penta. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I think that would be fun because he's come in with a lot of momentum. The fans love him, the crowd loves him. He's great in the ring. And I'm only imagining like Penta doing like that little walk down with the with the money in the bank, teasing at us, like, you know what I mean, as if he's gonna cash in and then decides like not to. That'd be kind of fun. So those would probably be my early picks.
Little update. Houston up 15, 3.5 minutes to go. So right now, looking like a game 7 so far.
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh man, Golden State, we got a problem because you going to game 7 in Houston with them young boys. I don't know, bro.
Houston has problems with game 7. They had it in 2016. They had it in 2017. So,
and regardless, you got Minnesota waiting. So would I want to see Minnesota and then Curry and Ant-Man Curry? Of course. But listen, if I get Minnesota and Houston, that's 2 young teams right there. It's like that's the evolution of the league. So I'm good either way. I'm good either way. But I'm gonna go back to Money in the Bank real quick. I think I don't know. I Dakota Kai would have been an awesome pick if she was still there. I think she will be back at some capacity. That's just my faith that she'll be back. I think that Sami Zayn is very interesting, given what we saw on Monday on Raw with Seth wanting him to go to SmackDown or join me or like don't fuck with us. If you do, you go to SmackDown. I'll put you as a number 1 contender for the winner of Cena and Orton. So Sami Zayn's going to be in that ether of a world championship. It just depends if it's the John Cena title or the Jey Uso title. And I think if you win Money in the Bank, him trying to cash in on a Jey Uso makes a lot of sense. There's a story behind that. Like, if he does it, is he a heel or like now we're best friends, but you can't really trust me? So like, I would love to see that be portrayed out on television. So I think that issue could come to fray. The women's side. The women's side. Money in the Bank. You can say Jay, but maybe it's too early. Does Bianca get involved? I don't know. If Alexa was still there, still around, like Alexa to be Money in the Bank. You mentioned Roxanne. That's a great pick. I'm trying to see like who would benefit it more: a face, a heel, someone who's going to be there on the roster every single week. And then who are you going to cash in on? Are you going to cash in on EO or cash in on Tiffany Stratton?
Yo, you just made me think of something now that you kind of laid it out that way. And based on tonight, right? It would be kind of fun if roles were reversed and Nia Jax won Money in the Bank because she loves to talk. You know what I mean? Like she got that gift of gab. And I think it would be fun to see her kind of have like an opportunity to be the one to hold the Money in the Bank, and like let's see which way she goes. Does she challenge EO? Is EO still champion at that point? Is Tiffany still champion? And if Tiffany is, does Nia just come out on some like, yo, yeah, I'm gonna get my revenge? Like, you know what I mean? Like just the way you laid it out that way of like each week, like dropping another gem, planting another seed. I feel like she'd be good at that.
And I got one more, and I think maybe this is why she dropped the title. Chelsea Green.
Oh,
I can see Chelsea Green. Like I go from U.S. title, I lose it. Now I keep climbing that ladder, and she's a heel. She's very funny with it. I think that could be another person you put in that wheel. Like, I could see her becoming a Money in the Bank, and she takes her time, and she's just drawing it out, and then eventually she cashes in, on Io or Tiffany. So I think Chelsea, just give it to Liv Morgan. Give Liv Morgan everything. She's the movie star. She's a 4-time tag champion. She's crown jewel champion. Like she just give Liv everything. Dakota Kai release was a shocker, to be honest. I think it's time to break up Damage Control. Like I said, turn one of the members heel, possibly Asuka, and turn on Io for the downfall of the Damage Control faction.
That's pretty harsh.
So first, you want Asuka to return, 1, 2, be a heel, and turn on Io, which would be different because we haven't seen a heel Asuka in a very, very, very long time. The crowd loves her, but if she does turn on Io, and everybody loves Io now, so that could make sense. Are you with Asuka returning and becoming a heel and turning on Io Sky?
See, you can take this one first.
I mean, Noob, man, you laid out a lot of groundwork right there, but I gotta admit,
that's what he does. That's what he does.
I was about to say, like, I don't hate any of it. I think it would be an interesting way to kind of phase us out of Damage Control.
Yeah.
Like you said, Dakota Kai not sticking around that was one of the biggest surprises. I think her, Jakara Jackson, it just made sense, right? Like it just looked like, they're about to get that next step. So them taking a step out of the company was a shocker. Asuka, on some real life type conversation, wasn't there like a little bit of a situation where she just was like she had to take time away because of like not to dive too deep into it, but it felt like there was like a stalker thing or something. So like it kind of played. So I don't know if like maybe she's even ready to come back. You know what I mean? And obviously that wasn't Noob's question. It was more about like, well, when she does. But I'm only posing that to say like, who knows how soon Asuka would even return.
So Asuka has been it's been a year. May 2024. She's been out for nearly 9 months due to a knee injury.
Oh, okay.
So she's been out for a whole calendar year.
It was a knee injury. All right, that's better than the stalker thing.
But I think she has had a stalker before. Like
I heard about that. Yeah.
She has had a stalker. Like what? I know we fans. Please don't be weird.
Fans be doing too much. Yeah, fans be doing too much, man.
You're making fans like us like that. I'm like, we just don't be. You could admire them. Just don't be weird. Remember, they're humans too, man.
Yeah, like I'm not waiting in the airport 5 o'clock in the morning with a binder of cards and memorabilia,
or going your address,
following your hotel. That's a little too much for me. I know if I see you and it's like out in the open public, okay, that's one thing. But to be following you, and I know where your car is at, I know where your hotel is at, I know where I got too much time on my hand.
I think someone sent a package to Rhea's house, and she said that's not cool. Someone approached Bianca's mom as well, like they know that, and Bianca was like, "Yo, I love y'all, but y'all really doing too much." And prior to that, like I think some superstars were out in public, but they used them by their real name. They said their real names to them, and they got taken aback from. Look, we know these guys by their actor's name. I mean, come on. But I know
before we tap into the releases, one more thing from outside the ring. They announced Crown Jewel, but not in Saudi Arabia.
Well,
Crown Jewel will be in Perth, Australia in October.
Oh yeah,
because I think Saudi is getting the Night of Champions show.
Well, they was like no Crown Jewel, but you'll get something else.
Yeah. So, and listen, we're about to be in June. I haven't heard shit about King of the Ring. Last year, the King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring, was that the winner of a certain match, you become the number one contender at SummerSlam. Yeah. So we haven't even had that conversation as of yet. That's where Gunther
And Nia Jax.
And Nia Jax. So I'm hoping they bring back King and Queen of the Ring. It's not on the schedule as of now, and I hope that's not just a one year gimmick kind of thing. But that's where we at. So yeah, Perth is a crown jewel in October. Night of Champions goes to Saudi Arabia, and we still don't have King and Queen of the Ring. Yeah. Kenny mentioned Kenny mentioned Fatal 4-Way for Backlash, so we know about that. You were saying, Kenny, that was you?
What?
Or no, I cut somebody off. Who was it? Okay.
Was like the men's that Fatal 4-Way is going to happen. Just wanted to know what are y'all's views about it. I know y'all established more on what we said.
I think Drew needs to get out of the U.S. title picture. He needs to be in the World Heavyweight title realm. Jacob, we got to get Jacob and Solo on and popping already. Yeah, I already know how I feel about LA Knight. It's just okay. And
Priest
Damien's like
in limbo.
Like, what does he do? He's the IC title might be. I'm sorry, the US title might be his realm for the time being, because maybe you're on SmackDown. So you're in that John Cena, Randy Orton title, Cody Rhodes realm. You're not in the World Heavyweight Championship realm no more. So that might have been your lane. But what you gonna be, the tag champion? What you gonna do for Priest right now? And he ain't the only one. A lot of other people are in limbo. Him, Finn Balor. There's a lot of people like, what do we do? But I think at some point in time, he's got to get away from that. I think Fatu needs to get away from all these people and go right to Solo, and then do that feud and see how long that goes.
Probably work together with talent, work with talent. I could see work with each other and just probably bring some good quality, some good matches.
And also, word is that Roman will not be available until Money in the Bank. So another month for Tribal Chief.
A month with no Tribal Chief.
I feel like I agree on the not Seth. Drew, on the Drew point, because it is a little weird to now put him in the U.S. title conversation. But if anything, maybe they just needed a really good match for Backlash. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only excuse I could, like, not excuse, but the only plan I could think of. But also, there's something to, I kind of like the idea of maybe kind of like the Strange Bedfellows pause kind of situation with LA Knight and Damian Priest, because you guys know how I feel about the men's tag team division. It's a little stale right now. So throwing the two of them, every now and then, I feel like every generation has their version of, like, this is an odd couple, but it works. Like, you think about like Yoko and Owen, and the two of them being like tag team champions for a little bit, and like, oh wow, it kind of, you wouldn't have never guessed that, but it worked. You know what I'm saying? I feel like maybe that could work with LA Knight and Damian Priest. Like, oh, I don't really get how this works, but it does, and it's at least entertaining, and it'll help like give a boost to the tag titles and give them something to do.
Do you recall a tag team that became tag champions? It was such an odd couple that he was like, how the fuck are you one together too?
Oh, I got
tag champions.
I got one. I'm pretty sure they were champions, but keep me honest here. 1, 2, 3 Kid or X-Pac and Kane. Weren't they champions?
They were.
I think so, yeah.
And it was like, what? But it worked. And they were like they were a pretty good tag team championship run.
They were. I think they beat the Outlaws.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, it's not like Kane was ever in any DX like storyline. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he did say suck it with sucker.
He did do that. Yeah, but it's like, I feel like
they won the tag titles on August 9th, 1999, the same day Jericho debuted.
Wow. Historic day. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like I said, sometimes you get pairs where it's like so weird and so off that it works because the characters can play off of each other, and it's like, I mean, one that's also comes to mind, and again, keep me honest here, but where it wasn't Stone Cold and Mankind.
Yeah, Dude Love.
Dude Love, weren't they tag champions too?
Yeah.
I got one for
another
you.
one.
I got one for you.
That would have been one of my ones, but I have one more, but I don't know if Kenny's gonna say it.
All right. One that I guess came out of nowhere, but it worked. The Rock and Sock connection. Rock and Mankind.
Okay.
When they beat Big Show and Undertaker and on Raw, became champions. It was odd. Enemies to become tag team champions. So chemistry, phenomenal. The millions and the dozens of Rock and Mankind fans. So that really worked well. Both debut books that year. Both were on Chef Boyardee commercials that same time as well. So the Rock and Sock connection were really good. I mean, and we got one of the best episodes of Rock, This Is Your Life segments on Raw. I still remember that. And you know how many, we went to school, we would say, take your Aunt Jemima having, no pancake having ass out of the Rock's ring. Come on, man. That was classic. Classic. What you got, Randy?
I'm looking. I thought I was the highest.
I thought you was gonna pick Rock and Sock. I was scared.
No, I'm looking. The Rock and Mick Foley segment was the second highest rated segment ever.
Wow.
Had a rating of 8.4. Wow. But the highest rated segment in Raw history is the title match between Steve Austin and The Undertaker, June 28th, 1999, drawing 10 million viewers.
Wow.
I think the tag team, I would have said Stone Cold and Dude Love, and then my second one would have been Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane.
Wow.
Because when you look at them, it's like, all right, I got this guy, then I got this guy. And yeah, I put them together and they become this comedic kind of tag team. And I don't know how many times they were tag team champions. I know once for sure. Twice, maybe, I don't know. But those two guys putting into a tag team. And it not only they were successful, it worked. They were faces. They turned face at some point in time. Come on, Daniel Bryan and Kane, fucking tag champions together. And it's like, okay, you sure? And then it worked.
Yeah, I guess sometimes we just gotta trust the writers' room, right? Like,
yeah. Sometimes. All right, so let's get right to it. Listen, we go through this once a year. Talents get laid off, and some that you might know, some that you might not know. But from what I saw earlier a few hours ago, and I showed you guys in the chat that they released the likes of Dakota Kai, Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Cora Jade, and a few others. Those are the ones that I know and recognize. There's a few other people, but when you hear that, just as a fan, it's like obviously we don't know what's going on backstage and financial cuts and money. TKO, that's all I see. TKO is ruining everything, and Dakota was just on TV, and Braun was just in Vegas for the WrestleMania, and so was Dakota Kai. I thought Cora Jade was going to be that next budding superstar. Shayna Baszler is always a nice key veteran to have. So what kind of shocked you the most, and what, as a fan, what does it tell you that for substantial big names are no longer with the company?
I guess I'll start off. As a fan, man, it's just really just disappointing. I think the ones that really disappointed me or upset me the most were Dakota Kai and Braun Strowman. Because Braun Strowman, I know like he had his ups and downs. He came back, but when he came back, I feel like he was worked in pretty well. Like, come on, we were eating good when he had his beef with Bronson Reed. Like that whole turmoil, they were destroying everything. and it just created good. Like you got two big gladiators going against head to head. So I thought that really worked well. Him with Carmelo, I thought Braun was there to help some talent like with him and Jacob. I feel like he helped him. He put him over. He really just took those bumps, took those hits. I thought it really worked well, and I thought he was probably going to work more with others again. Sad Dakota Kai, real upset because she really put on some good matches on Raw. She faced off against Lyra Valkyria twice, one for contending the Intercontinental title, and another one for the Intercontinental title. And I was kind of hoping that she was going to probably come back with Kairi Sane to possibly fight again for the Raw Women's Tag Team titles. I would have been really interested in that. It's just, yeah, man. It's just like, these are some fan favorites that fans always talk about. Give them a push. We were talking about giving Dakota Kai a push. I mean, she came back recently from a knee injury. She tore her MCL, ACL. She hurt her knee. And then, she was getting the push. The fans still supported her. And then you just do that. That's just like, come on. Why do that? Like, you haven't, like, she's been off. Give her an opportunity. Give her a chance. Put her back in the mid card. Put her in tag title. Shayna Baszler is, like you said, Randy, is a veteran. I think her and Zoe could have still worked. But it's just... Maybe they could have competed in Money in the Bank because Zoe was really good competing in the last two Money in the Bank matches. But it's just, I guess it's just a harsh reality. Yeah, we said this earlier before we started. Everything just goes on. The show goes on. It sucks, but things happen. T?
Before you go, T, we got a Game 7, Warriors and the Rockets. Yep.
Young boys, they don't know that they're not supposed to be here. That's the thing.
Game 7.
I guess Ime Udoka for a mayor.
I mean, the Ken, you kind of picked the biggest surprises for me. Court Jade, I would obviously throw in there too. But honestly, that's the big thing that this all says to me is just how much they believe in particularly to the women's talent. Like they get talked about so much in NXT. And we know it's only a matter of time before, Stephanie Blair and Julia, and even the other talent that's like still on the rise and still developing down in NXT, like a Lola Vice or, like a Sol Ruka. There's so much talent on the women's side that even someone who is developing a relationship with the fans and finally coming into her own as her own character could get cut, like Shayna Baszler, another one who, I would just kind of like call her more reliable than anything else. But I don't know. I guess it's like any other industry, yo. Like sometimes there's a new wave of fresh talent that you kind of got to make room for. That being said, I think we all believe like, Dakota Kai, go down to TNA. You know what I mean? Like stay in the family almost, so to speak. Draw a crowd there, prove that you can like hold a title down there, and then come back. But then there's also, Mariah May. There's rumors, right, that she's coming over to the main roster over at WWE. So I'm guessing that that's part of this, right? Is that they had to make a move. And unfortunately, like she kind of got the chopping block. The thing with Braun was, I mean, not that any of us would agree, or maybe you would, Randy. I don't know, but Paul Heyman just like 2 weeks ago said something about the two of them having a conversation and him saying like, "Yeah, you suck," which I don't agree with. But Paul Heyman's Paul Heyman, right? Like there is a degree of like things that he says that you want to talk about somebody that you got to trust, and he's seldom ever wrong. You know what I mean? And like, again, we're the fans and we see it one way. I wish that he would have, he being Braun would have been worked into another storyline. And there was something about like, 12-year-old Terrence loved seeing like the two big giants that I'm used to seeing as a kid clash, and like you said, like they put on some bangers, and with him and Bronson Reed, him and Jacob, it just seemed like okay, like he's the big guy that the other big massive monsters have to go through to kind of prove that they're also, you know what I mean, like a real, like something not to be played with. So I don't know. I guess my only thing with I believe Dakota will be back. I don't know if I could say the same thing for Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wave of cuts like last year, kind of to compare to this year. Like, we saw Jinder, Ricochet, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin. This is back in November. Indy Hartwell, Tegan Knox, Gabe Stevenson, Sonya Deville. I think she came back and got cut again.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander. So, I think it just. I see it new. Hold up. Cora Jade was the most shocking. Her and Roxanne would have run roughshod on the main roster, but instead we got Julia and Roxanne as team. Makes little to no sense. Yeah, I don't know if the injury played a major factor with Cora. I think she was, she was back, but she was still kind of lost in that shuffle from what I seen on NXT, and from what you see on NXT, you kind of know who is running roughshod. You saw Roxanne, you saw Stephanie, you saw Julia. Like, those were the people I saw the most on NXT. And I feel bad for everybody. Cora, Shayna. I think to me, Dakota was the most shocking one because I felt she was next in line for something going on, and it just, when they just don't have anything for you to do, it's either we're gonna write you off and say you're hurt, or you're gonna do a movie. I see you in 3 months, take a vacation. But with these people, it's like, damn, we really don't have anything for you. As opposed to putting you on the shelf and figuring something out, we're just gonna cut you and then save money. A company that's making, as far as I know, a lot of money because of the ticket sales for WrestleMania and everything. Like, you just made a whole bunch of bread, and now you got to cut these people to save money. Unless what Terrence said, like the free agents coming in, like, hey, we got to get that bread into them, because you still have Asuka coming back. You got a whole bunch of other people coming back. Like, hey, we got to give them the bread too. So, yeah, man, I'm not. And again, I feel there's been recently where somebody got cut, but they came back in like 90 days. So this could be a soft cut where, like, I don't see Cora in AEW. I don't see Shayna in AEW, where everybody is a mass exodus going to the rival company. Now we've been seeing that go from AEW to over here. Like, a couple guys have come over, Black and Rusev. So are we in that time frame again where people are shifting from company to company? Probably, but probably not. But this right here, I think TNA is very important, because if we don't see people go to TNA and they have this partnership, then it's like damn, like what are we doing here? I can't even say my people who I cut down to TNA and do some shit, and then I might sign back in a couple of months. If I don't see them in TNA, then that's a major problem that we're not really prepared for.
That means you're thinking like it's a problem from within. That means something.
Yeah, like a problem within, like it. Hey, if I cut you from the Knicks, but I don't put you in Westchester, like, damn, like you don't want me completely. I gotta go somewhere else. I can't stay in my own farm system to better my craft. And hey, call me up in 3 months. It's like NXT, but now I'm going past NXT. I'm going TNA. TNA's behind NXT. I'm not even in like the wheelhouse. So it's like, what do I do? Can I see Braun AEW? I don't know. because anybody who goes to AEW from the E, it doesn't always normally work out. You just saw Aleister Black come back. You saw Rusev come back. Like, not everybody who crosses over is gonna be a major hit. Dakota Kai, I think she's a lifer for the E. I think she'll come back. Cora Jade is still young. Maybe she'll get bookings somewhere else for the time being. Shayna Baszler, I think she'll come back. I really don't know. But no matter what, they're not there right now. But it's a matter of time if they come back or not, or get bookings somewhere else.
I kind of think too, like, yo, what I would say is if AEW could get their storyline situation, like
and you know what, T? You know what happened the first time in a while?
What was that?
They beat NXT in the ratings, Dynamite. Last week, I think. They beat NXT.
The MJF business?
I don't know what happened on that Dynamite.
Kind of ringing off. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, they had a quick moment where they have spurts. Like MJF, there was that one period where he looked like he was the biggest next star. And he decided, like, no, I'm sticking with AEW. I'm going to be a legend here, right? Tony Storm and Maura May just had probably one of the best women's match, if not the best, until WrestleMania with a triple threat match. Right? Like that's all our timelines, was talking about. In terms of, like, the most recent women's matches. So if they could just figure out a way to consistently do that, I could see a Braun Strowman going down there and being like, let me get this resurgence. You know what I mean? Like, I could see a Shayna Baszler, right? Like, let me go get, like, because, Ricochet, I don't know if you guys saw it, but he tweeted the other day, like, going to AEW was a good move for him because it, allowed him to kind of, like, reclaim his appreciation for the sport he said he loves. Right? Because, like, sometimes, and this happens in almost any field, right? Like, you're at one company, they don't see you, or they don't see the full potential with you, or they only see you one way, and you got to go somewhere else to develop. I think that's kind of what it is. Now with Cora, like you said, Randy, she's mad young. She'll be back. We all know that. Like, you look at someone like Chelsea Green. It took a while, but she got back, and now she's Chelsea Green. And the one that I think stings all of us is just Dakota Kai. I don't see a wrestling world where she doesn't make it back. I guess, to me, just like you said, do you stay in our farm system? Do you go where the money's at? You know what I mean? Because, I would imagine AEW is going to throw a bag at her, but stay at TNA, you're still within the family. So that's probably the biggest question when it comes to somebody like Dakota Kai.
Yeah. Real quick, if you guys don't mind, I just see my guy pop up. My guy Graham Matthews, who's never with us on a Friday night or Monday night. My man Graham Matthews is in the motherfucking building. What's up,
Friday night, Graham?
I'm here. What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. I know you guys were just talking Dakota Kai. I heard caught the last part of that convo, but so just for reference, I haven't watched SmackDown. Just a heads up. Okay. I literally just got back. I know about the releases and shit, so I can't contribute to that. But literally, what you guys were talking about at the end there, as far as like still being in the feeder system and stuff, like you're speaking my language because I was thinking the exact same thing.
So talk to me, Grant. Obviously, you haven't seen SmackDown. We know about the releases. Cora, Shayna, Braun, Dakota Kai, a few others. I told them we go through this every year of cuts, and some come back, some don't. What drew your attention to these four and others from earlier today?
Yeah, honestly, the most surprising to me personally was Braun and Dakota Kai to a certain extent. Braun definitely. He was easily the biggest surprise out of them all just because he's on TV literally every single week. He's over. He's established. He's gotten hurt a few times, but so is a majority of the top talent. So that doesn't really, I can kind of understand that to a certain degree. But beyond that, like that kind of surprised me. Dakota Kai was on most weeks. Up until recently, she wasn't really on. The other ones, they clearly just didn't have plans for. A lot of talented people in that bunch. And making that call to cut anyone is obviously a difficult one. But, at the same time, they've just been hiring so many people from whether it be AEW or like the NIL signings, more indie people. It was a matter of time before you can't hire everyone and then not let go of anyone. I understand that. Cora Jade surprised me just because she's constantly on NXT TV, but some of these people more surprising than others. I was just more so surprised to see Braun Strowman let go for the reasons I mentioned. And, Shayna Baszler, she's been around for a long time. She hasn't been on the show in months. As soon as they let go of Sonya Deville, it's like, okay, this PFC thing is over. We're not going to do anything with her. Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, two very talented women, a great tag team, but they already held the tag titles and they probably felt there's not much more we can do with them. But I think at this point, it is clear to say, as other people have indicated, and I think Sean Ross Sapp said this earlier today, that the buck stops with Triple H at this point. So it's no longer do we live in an era where it's like, oh, it was Vince that let go of these people and Triple H would have saved that person's job. Triple H brought back Braun Strowman and Dakota Kai to the company. He's also the reason why they're now gone. It may not have been his call directly, but if he wanted to save them from being cut, he would have done so. So, just a lot of a lot more than I thought they would. But honestly, it can't be too shocking considering they've brought in so many people in the last couple of months alone.
So I got two before I let Terrence and Kenny chime in. I seen also on social once they got released, a lot of fans were saying, "Oh, TKO is ruining the E and TKO too much TKO involvement. It's about money. It's about celebrities. It's too much hands-on TKO, and like you mentioned, if Triple H really wanted to save them, he would." Do you agree with that? Do you feel like there's too much TKO involvement, or is that a myth going on right now?
I think it's a myth. I feel like this would happen regardless, whether Vince was in charge. I feel like if Vince was in charge, like when Vince was running things, like especially during COVID, when they were letting go of people like every fucking 2 weeks. I mean, at that point, they were letting go of people that had just debuted on the main roster, like literally weeks ahead of time. And that made no sense. Like some of these people, like I said, Shayna's been there for 5 years. Braun got fired and came back, but like that one, like I said, is surprising. The other ones, a lot of them are NXT cuts, people they just had no plans for. We don't know whatever reason they could have been let go for. We just don't know. Maybe some of these people requested it. Highly doubtful, but I don't think it's a TKO thing. I mean, it is my problem, honestly, because them making quarterly cuts sounds like a lot, and it is. My two biggest issues with the releases are, one, Stephanie McMahon going out there on night 2 of WrestleMania, opening up the show saying WWE is a family, which is just so fucking nonsensical. I mean, why even say that? What a dumb thing to say. You know what I mean? Like, we know it's not. It's a company that you let go of people all the time. It's like any sports team. It's a business. You let go of people. I get it. But don't be out there on TV pretending like it's one giant family. It's fucking not. And then the second thing is them pretending like it's a budget cut issue. I mean, a couple of years ago when they were trying to sell the company to where we are now with TKO, I kind of get that, and it was still stupid even then. They're making more money now hand over fist than ever before. So, I mean, I don't know. They have the money to keep these people on or continue paying them. They just choose not to. So don't lie to people and say it's budget cuts, when in reality it's because you just have no plans for them, or you feel like they're paying too much, or whatever the case might be. That's just the bullshit reason. So that's really my biggest issue with it personally. I don't think it's a TKO problem. Specifically, this has always been a problem with the company.
So my last one, because Noob commented, our guy Noob commented earlier. He's sad about Dakota, but he mentioned this idea, the fact that he wants them to bring Asuka back, turn her heel, and to turn on Io Sky for the official downfall of Damage Control. Are you in alliance with that?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could totally see that. I mean, Dakota Kai, I liked her being like they had just incorporated new women's mid-card title. So, I mean, Dakota Kai could have held that at some point. She was obviously in the mix for it a couple of mere weeks ago, not even like that long ago. And she lost a few times. I love Dakota. I think Dakota Kai is great. And I'm sad to see her go. But, they don't really need her there as part of the Damage Control thing. They could just break up the whole group, and Io's better on her own anyway. So, yeah, heel Asuka coming back, feuding with Io. That totally works for me.
Kenny, Terrence, take it away.
Go ahead, T. I'll wait.
Oh, all right, yeah. I mean, I'll jump in. I think there's only two things I would probably say. You did mention Jakara. She was another big shock to me just because of how much of a fan favorite that she was in NXT. And she felt like a part of that wave that was coming, from the women's side of NXT up to the main roster. I mean, obviously, we know who they're bringing up right now with Roxanne, with Julia, with Stephanie Vaquer. But it just felt like, okay, cool. Like she's going to be in that next wave, or at least, continue to carry the torch. So really sad to see her go. Plus, like, I saw a clip the other day and I do remember watching this, but her, like, Pearl River slamming Otis, like she's a talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Trick Willie, good for you. But and I will say too, not to pocket watch, but this is just common information, right? Like, I think the lowest anyone makes on the main roster is around $200K a year. Obviously they do a lot of work, so they earn every penny. But I'm only saying that to say, it's just like you mentioned, they're making more money now than any of us could probably ever remember. And just in a matter of 2 years, the tickets that I got to go for me and my brother to go to WrestleMania in LA, again, not a small market, as opposed to what they would be in Las Vegas, for me and my brother to go both nights. One of us could have went one night. So that says for the same tickets and the same, seating. Yeah. So that says to me, you guys are doing okay,
Yeah.
It definitely, I don't know that I would believe that it's budget cuts. You acquired TNA, and so I'm sure there's a little bit of trickle down that involves in that. And you just launched LFG. So yeah, of course, there are new ventures. But you signed a Netflix deal. You know what I mean? Like,
of course,
Saudi Arabia every year. Like, you're not hurt.
Yeah.
This is
cool. Go ahead, Kay.
Oh, my bad. One word I would just have to say with TKO is just, as T said it, Graham said it. I feel like greed. Just overall greed. I mean, a Netflix deal, sign a Netflix deal. Netflix is worth billions. It's really worth billions within viewership every week. Since they joined Netflix in January, they've been getting over their viewerships per Monday every time have exceeded to almost like over 50,000 viewers plus every so often after WrestleMania. It surpassed the Raw after WrestleMania. It surpassed to like within 1 million viewers prior, and that was like it was almost ranked as one of the highest right after the debut of of Raw on Netflix. But from that, I know what Hunter did, like when he took over and he said, one thing that helps get this company money is within the different promotions. And prior to before, y'all know we always see Stacker 2, Snickers, promotions, Castro GTX.
That's right.
Same
throwback.
promotions. But yeah, now we're getting Prime. We're getting Let Alone. We're getting all this. And predominantly also too the silent partner, which is UFC. How many times we're always seeing UFC fighters always promoted and they're intertwined. When UFC has an event, WWE is always there. Or when we see in the events, they always show the cameras now to the celebrities, everyone that's there, partners, executives, a lot of intertwined with UFC. And I understand you want to showcase others in sport, but it's really showing a lot because UFC is already its own company itself, and they can make money without partnering with WWE. They're just saying that, hey, we understand that people like you, but guess what? Now we can make your fans watch us while we put our staple in this, and we can build more. And I don't know, bro. Yo, my friend tried to get tickets for SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, MetLife, crazy.
MetLife. They released this week on Wednesday. He was on Thursday. He was trying to get tickets. He told me, he couldn't get them, and he was like, the nosebleeds at the top of MetLife Stadium, at the last one, they were asking for $470 plus a $75 fee.
Oh my God.
For 2 tickets. So I'm like, he's like, bro, it's not worth going. I'm like, yo, we would just watch the match on the big screen at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I gotta make sure I gotta get a new set of glasses to watch that. I'm like, bro, but I'm like, my thing is this: is it really for the fans? Like, you guys,
listen,
we all here went to an event, and the fact is, how is it really affordable for fans? Like, what type of fan or viewership are you trying to go for?
Yeah.
That's like going to sorry to say, Madison Square Garden. What type of
watch your mouth.
Respectfully, Randy. All I know is this: when I was a kid going to a Knicks game, the highest to go to a Knicks game in a good, like, the purple seats down below was at least $98. The most you pay $150. And that was in 98. Now is 4 figures, 5 figures.
Yeah.
Like, I remember people telling me a WrestleMania match back in 2090s, the most expensive ticket was like $300 probably. And a mid seat was like $75. Like, bro, I'm just like, what are we doing wrong? Are we taking from the fan experience? Are we looking
I did see somewhere someone said that, I could be wrong, that SummerSlam currently was looking a little cheaper than Vegas for WrestleMania. Obviously, that's WrestleMania, that's Vegas, but I think they've been hearing some people like, yo, bro, it's too expensive. Can't bring a family. Then I gotta buy merch. I gotta buy the food. I gotta buy. I'm costing a whole G or more for a 2-night event. I'm like, bro, like, the fuck I gotta do? I gotta give blood. Like, I gotta sell everything just to go to SummerSlam, bro.
You better start the OnlyFans, Randy.
I'm topped by
Hey, we OnlyFans. You've heard.
Yeah, seriously.
It's crazy, but I do get it, and I go to G with this one. Like, we mentioned last week, and I think even Stone Cold was on Ariel, and Ariel asked him about the new TKO stuff, and just the sponsors, the ring has the logos, the turnbuckle has the logos, everything is sponsor. And he's like, asked me, I'm kind of old school. The ring is forbidden. That's what McMahon always wanted. There should be no logos in there. But now it's like Prime. It's this. It's Nerd Wallet. Whatever the fuck it is. You go in there and you just see a whole bunch of logos, like it's a UFC fight, this movie and this drink and that. I get it. It could feel like it's too much, all happening so fast. Like, if you give me one logo in the ring for like a whole year or two, all right, cool. Maybe you add a second logo. You know what I'm saying? You just work your way. You're adding like there's 9 logos in the ring and turnbuckles. I'm like, oh shit, Prime on turnbuckle and WrestleMania. Okay, G, talk to me. How do you feel about this? The rapid evolution of the TKO involvement and the logos and the sponsors and the whole branding for everything.
Yeah, I don't like how rapid it's been, but I was among those, and I still think this way as far as, like, I think the logo stuff is dumb all over the ring, and the fact that we went from none to like 9 on Raw every single week, and SmackDown just has the WWE logo in the middle, and then it's the premium live events, the the pay-per-views, whatever, and Raw that have the logo issue. But honestly, as I figured it would, as time went on, it doesn't really bother me personally. I can't speak for everyone. It is a bit of an eyesore, but for me, it's not distracting. Like, I'm not watching the matches or the promos or whatever, thinking like, oh man, I'm looking at the fucking Prime logo the entire time. Like, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know if it's something that UFC people have been bothered by. I don't really cover, or I don't really watch that extensively, so I can't say. I don't know. It just, wrestling fans especially, and especially me, because I can relate to this. we don't like change. Like when theme music changes, we're like, the fuck? Like, why would you? Most of the times nowadays it's garbage. Like, that's understandable. But like when if Raw were to change nights or something like that, like we would be bothered by it. It probably wouldn't make that much of a difference in the long run. But because it's something different than what we've known, we don't like it. It's kind of the logo thing with me personally. Like, we knew it without logos for so long. That was a Vince edict for so long. Now we're with the logos and shit. I mean, over time, it hasn't really bothered me personally. For me, it might get to a point where it kind of takes away from certain matches on the show. If it becomes too much where, like, I hate with the pay-per-views now, like where they incorporate sponsorships during the matches, I have no issue with that at all. I've actually talked about and written about it. I'm kind of a proponent of that sort of thing. If it's like a seamless thing and it makes sense and it's organic, I'm okay with it. What I don't like is during the pay-per-views, that's just fucking ridiculous, but,
bro.
Whatever.
Slim Jim, Cricket, Clash of
bro.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on.
But during the pay-per-views, I will take that if it means not getting like a million commercials during the pay-per-views in between matches. Now, granted, it's in between the matches and not during the matches, but like when I was at Mania, like it was fine because I'm watching the video packages. But then when I watch like at home for any other pay-per-view, I notice, because I have the fucking ad version, so I get ads instead of the video packages. So I don't see any of the video packages at all. Unless you're at the show or unless you have the ad-free version, you just get ads for like 5 minutes. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then that's in addition to having the 45-minute entrances with everyone singing, blah, 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 blah. Just ridiculous. So that I would like to see them cut down on. They were not doing that during the Vince era or on the WWE network. It would just be match. I think there's a happy medium between having 5 or 6 matches on a pay-per-view with a million commercials and then having 14 matches on a pay-per-view like we see with AEW and no breaks at all. So just something they should definitely work on for the future.
Yeah. Kenny and T, any more for G before, because this is past Grant's bedtime, so it's like
listen,
12:30 at night. Never happens.
I had to make a run. Well, it's not necessarily for me. Just to talk in general. I wanted to hear what you guys think as well. As far as the releases and stuff like that. So I'm here for as long as you guys are talking for.
Oh, cool. So let's go one more hour with Grant. Right?
I don't think anyone wants to go one more hour. Randy.
Anything I want to ask G, because he does a lot writing for Bleacher Report. So whatever you want to ask him, go ahead.
Well, I mean,
Raw, SmackDown, Backlash, Mania, whatever.
Just to chime in on the situation, I marketing background, it doesn't bother me, right? Like the logos, because I don't know, y'all remember, not to make it basketball wise, but y'all remember when they put like NBA.com on the top of the backboard, and at first it was weird, but now it's kind of cool because you'll have like this iconic shot, and then there's like a little that it's subtle. There's not a lot of subtlety with some of the logos.
Yeah,
but it's almost like boxing, right? Like eventually
it is,
and it made more. Right? Yeah, it made more money, and like the purses were bigger. And to your point, Graham, like hopefully that means more money for talent and less. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm hoping. Like obviously that's not what happened today, but I think like in a matter of months, even maybe a couple of years, none of us are gonna care, and there's gonna be a whole generation who's used to it who's really not gonna care.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I guess since we were talking about Backlash, but then we were trying to like map out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I guess I'd want to hear your thoughts on like, okay, well, where do we go after Backlash? Because Randy, you said like right after that is Money in the Bank, right? But we still got to get to King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring. I mean, I hope, right? Like,
hope so.
We still got to get to that. They just announced Crown Jewel, but that's in October, right? Or November?
October and Perth.
October, so after SummerSlam. Wasn't there one more thing in between?
Clash in Paris, I think, right?
Clash in Paris.
That's in September.
Yeah, it's like August 31st or something like that. Yeah.
Is there one more thing, Randy? Was there one more PLE or like a Saturday night something?
There's a Saturday night event in May.
Okay, so basically we got to go to King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring, and then SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank, King and Queen. of the ring? When would we have them so that it doesn't feel, like, oh, we forgot about this. Like, you know what I mean? Let's just throw it in.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon. No, sorry, go ahead.
I'm looking at the fucking
the calendar.
The calendar. Like, I'm seeing regular SummerSlam clashes in end of August. Crown Jewel is in October. We know Survivor Series. So as of right now, there's no King and Queen of the Ring. There's no Night of Champions. We know Survivor Series is in San Diego. So right after Backlash, you're going right to Saturday Night Main Event, Money in the Bank, and there's nothing in between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, which is kind of odd thing going on right now.
Yeah, honestly, I think every pay-per-view that we just mentioned, I think that's the calendar for the year. I don't think they do King and Queen of the Ring this year because they did it last year in Saudi. You don't have to do it in Saudi, obviously. I prefer that they didn't. But because Saudi's getting the Rumble, unfortunately, next year, I don't think they're going to do another Saudi show for the rest of the year because they announced where Crown Jewel would typically be in Saudi. That's going to be in Australia in October.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to add any more shows. I think that's it. The only thing I think they could add in July is Evolution 2, but only that would be obviously an all women's pay-per-view. So if you do that, and then you have, not counting that show, because that would be an all women's show. So there's no show for the guys to be on, I guess. You could have another Saturday night's main event. I just don't, I think they might go back to what it was back in the day. I don't know. I want to say like between 2002 and 2006, they were doing the King of the Ring like every 2 or 4 years. I would love it if it was every year personally. That's how it was for so long. But if they did it every 2 years, if it doesn't make sense to do it this year, then I'm okay with them not doing it. And honestly, another thing is that last year they had the winners go on to SummerSlam to fight for world championships. So I would think, unless you change that to like Survivor Series or something, it would have to be before SummerSlam this year. And I just don't see that happening unless they announce it for July. And if they're announcing shows for fucking November in San Diego, like Survivor Series, I think they probably would have announced it by now, maybe, but maybe we're wrong. You know what? At the same time, maybe they do it on Raw. They were doing it on Raw like in 2008. So there's a lot of options, honestly. I just want them to do a better job of filling the TV before these shows. Because like those last couple of Raws and SmackDowns before Mania this year, because the build was so fucking long, they kind of struggle there to fill TV time. So hopefully they could do a better job of that and avoid that. But with like the Saturday night's main events and all the pay-per-views we're getting, I think hopefully they should be good. But like Backlash being 3 weeks after Mania is kind of tough. But some of the matches kind of sell themselves for that show anyway.
And the one thing I noticed when they promoted Survivor Series, the one thing I did not see is the little tagline of War Games.
I say good, honestly.
You say good?
Same.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I want to hear what you had to say, bro.
So you're saying you're good on them not making it War Games.
Here's the reason why, though. Love War Games. I think we'd all be hypocrites if we said don't have Hell in the Cell be a pay-per-view, but War Games should be a pay-per-view. It's the same thing. I think War Games should only be saved for when it makes sense. If you challenge another team or if there's a faction feud. They've made sense for the last 4 years, but like fucking 3 of those men's matches were bloodline matches. Like how many more of those can you do? Like it just doesn't make sense. I would do it like at a SummerSlam or something. Because also when you do it, you're forcing, like if it makes sense for the women, then you're forcing one for the men. Or if it makes sense for the men, you're forcing one for the women. I just don't like that. AEW does it too. I don't like when they do that. I'm glad they're not doing it at Survivor Series. Just make Survivor Series. Like what a fucking concept, right? Doesn't have to revolve around War Games. Doesn't have to revolve around brand supremacy bullshit. Just make it a regular show with a show that matters. Again, what a concept. I mean, keep it one night, no 2-night bullshit either. Keep it what it is. So I'm a fan of that move. I've been saying that for years. I love War Games, and it was cool when they brought it to the main roster. They could do it again in the future. It just doesn't have to be tied to a certain show like Hell in the Cell was for so long.
My last one before I get you out of here
and bring back the elimination matches.
That's
for Survivor Series,
for a minute.
Yeah,
and listen, it's gonna be outdoors too. And
really, where?
San Diego.
San Diego,
the Padres part. So that's probably why they can't even do War Games. I can't hang the fucking thing in the sky.
My thing is this: if you notice, they're doing a lot of these PLEs in the pay-per-views in a lot of big arenas and not no small market. I mean, isn't it which Money in the Bank is in the Clippers' new stadium?
Oh yeah, the Intuit Dome, right? Yeah.
Hey,
on the same day as Worlds Collide, right?
Yeah, and then a lot of they're performing a lot in LA, San Diego. I think what is it? Backlash is the only one. It's in St. Louis, Missouri. That's like a real, like, blue collar town.
Wrestling, yeah.
I mean, you had what was the WrestleMania, Las Vegas. They going to Vegas again. I forgot on where.
They better not. They better
yeah,
not.
it's just taken away from a lot of these.
I agree.
The small market, other cities as well. I mean, Seth Rollins probably going to complain later, like, yo, we used to go a lot to my city, but now we don't go to Iowa. But I mean, for one thing, if you was to look on the other end, a lot of these wrestlers are getting more time off. You're not getting house shows, but they're getting more time off. So I guess because if TKO's like, hey, all right, if we put all this money in it, we want them to perform on these days. We don't want them house shows. No, we don't want them over getting hurt or so. But they do too much promotion anyway.
G, let me ask you this, cause real quick. I had one question. Maybe I could speed through this one. Part A. Who is your early favorite women and men to win Money in the Bank in June?
Good question. I'll leave that to the second part. First part, I just want to say I completely agree with Kenny. I think they absolutely have to go to smaller towns. I mean, it is kind of like you look at the pay-per-views. I'm from Connecticut, but like we got one pay-per-view in the last 15 years. I mean, we don't need more shit. The Northeast gets a ton of shit. I mean, Randy, you can attest that. We get so much fucking shit. But like they announced, I think we got one show in Boston. Like Boston's a bigger city. We've gotten one show in the last 5 years since after COVID, which is kind of crazy. And Boston isn't even like a fucking Iowa, like Kenny was saying. But like they don't do that shit anymore. It has to be like even New York City. When was the last pay-per-view that the Barclays Center got? Probably Survivor Series in 2021, I think, right?
Maybe.
I think SmackDown back in December 2nd.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, Raws and SmackDowns, but I'm thinking more like pay-per-views and stuff like that.
Oh,
right?
no, not since for a while, no.
Yeah, it's been a bit, but no, I completely agree. As far as Money in the Bank goes, men's and women's, I was thinking LA Knight for a while, and I want to stick. I think Braun Breaker's too soon. LA Knight's got to be elevated. There was another name that made. This is probably a dark horse, but I just want to see him get pushed. Karrion Kross. I want to see Karrion Kross do something, but I don't know if it's going to happen. But I'll say LA Knight because they're also in Los Angeles, so that just makes sense. For the women, Chelsea Green would be cool, but I don't know if they see her on that like main women's level. I have to look at the roster real quick. I'll get back to you on that, but I'll definitely say LA Knight for right now. So take a look at the roster.
Chelsea doesn't win, we riot. Yo, I just thought about this. Oh, I'm sorry, Randy. What were you gonna say?
So you said Brooklyn, Graham, the last time they had a pay-per-view in New York?
I think it was Survivor Series 2021. I remember I was at that show, so that's why I remember that one.
Hold up. 2021 Survivor Series.
Well, let Terrence go in the meantime while you're looking it up.
Go ahead, Tio. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about like why we might not get a King of the Ring if we don't, like for its own PLE. Just remember, with this being John's last year, they said his last, I think, he's getting a PLE of his own. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it called Ruthless Aggression? I think
that's the rumor, right?
The names have been thrown out.
Okay, but we know that that's going to be his sign, his sign off. So maybe that's partly why it just clicked in my head, like, oh well, what else is happening that would mean that like that's why we don't get it this year. But if we did, you brought up a good point too, Graham, of like, well, why don't we just do most of the early matches on Monday Night Raws and SmackDown like they've been doing and like how they started, and then get to some sort of resolution, maybe have like the championship or the final match at a PLE. Maybe if it doesn't get its own this year. Just a thought. I thought about that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think they haven't done a pay-per-view in December in, God, maybe like 5 years, because TLC was like the December show, and then they got away from it. And now Survivor Series is so late, it's like November 29th. But the thing is, though, the Rumble's not until late January. 2 months is just too fucking long because then December's like a dead month. So I agree. I think they should do the Cena pay-per-view in December, even if it's like the last weekend of December. And also, I just want to say this real quick. I'm looking at the roster now. Of all the women that I could see winning it, Chelsea would be cool. Honestly, more realistically, Naomi. Naomi's like fucking, I mean, she's always been great, but like, especially right now. Oh, Kenny said that too? Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Naomi would be a great pick.
Kenny said Naomi. I said Chelsea. Terrence said Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne. Those are all, honestly, those would be my top 3.
They're my dark horse. Liv Morgan.
Dark horse.
I know you love Liv.
That's your Iron Horse. They ain't no dog.
Dark horse. Really? She's doing a movie. She's Hollywood star. Give Liv Morgan all the belts to Liv Morgan.
Who are all of our men's picks? I think those are great women's picks. Who are all of our men's picks?
We Money in the Bank men.
Carmelo.
I said Sami Zayn.
Braun
okay, good one. Yeah.
I mean, Braun Breaker is probably obvious, but I just don't think he'll get it. And then Terrence said, Carmelo was an option.
Oh, good one. Hopefully,
I think I said because Dom is IC champion, I'd actually like to see Penta. You know,
okay,
he might be interesting. Like
Penta would be sick.
You know what I'm saying? Like if he won and he kind of teased with the dance with the
yeah.
I'm here for it.
And a super duper legit dark horse on the men's side, if it can tie into the Seth Rollins faction, super dark horse, Austin Theory.
Haven't we done that before, Randy?
Yeah, that's right. But he fucked up. He fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like we see multiple guys win multiple Money Bank, and listen,
he ain't Edge.
Edge, Punk. Did Punk win it twice?
Yeah, Punk won it twice. He won it back-to-back years. Yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky Theory wasn't on that cut list today. I mean, he might still be on that cut list tomorrow. Let's be honest here. I mean,
okay, since we're on the topic,
can
we get Grams? Do you think he's the third man of the Seth Rollins?
If you were adding a third man to Seth Rollins, Paul, and Braun, or a third person, male or female, who would you add?
I think Theory's the guy. I agree with that. Randy, I assume you said that. Did you guys say that too, or did you guys were thinking someone else?
I picked Drew.
Drew, I think I like. The thing with Theory is that he fits it, but like I feel like he's damaged goods. I feel like he kind of has to leave and come back because the guy is just a fucking loser at this point, and
that's why he needs.
I don't think people will care though. I genuinely don't. I think people have gone to the point where they just do not care. Grayson Waller might work better than that. I think Drew, he's established, but it makes sense though. Him and Drew and Seth were doing those backstage segments a few months ago where he was like, I don't have an issue with you, Seth. I agree with you. You hate the bloodline for all these reasons, X, Y, and Z. Honestly, I feel like a better 3-man group. Breaker's great. But like Owens was also interacting with them. Like Owens, Drew, and Rollins, that would have made perfect sense. And no one's benefiting because they're all, world champions.
They're established already.
They're established. So I don't know. But Owens got hurt, so it doesn't matter.
That's why you got to add Theory.
I mean, there's something that you said about like Theory kind of maybe needing to leave and come back. On a couple, I don't know if it was last show or show a week ago, I said something about like, do you remember that like the actual interaction he had with like that reporter? I think they were in Australia, and he in real life, like the reporter did the thing. Oh, wrestling's fake, right? Just to get a rise out of him. And Theory was about to show him like, yo, these muscles ain't show muscles, they are go muscles. And he got in his face, and you saw the emotion come out of him.
Yeah.
And he basically defended wrestling like they all do.
Yeah.
And that was the person that we need. And if they are going to go with Theory, Heyman has to get that out of him every week. It has to be that like level, because he plays the jerk, but he plays it. You know what I mean? Like, no. Be that asshole. Be that jock. Be that jerk. Let people know I will smack the shit out of you. Like that's what we need. And I feel like Heyman's done it for, he's done it for Brock, right? He's done it for, he helped Roman even reach another level.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody that could really bring that out of him, it would be maybe Paul. My dark horse pick would be Carmelo. I think he's the only other person that people are talking about, just because we give you a faction that's like this prominent. Yeah. I'd be good either way.
Yeah. Do something with Carmelo. I mean, I know the guy won the Battle Royal, but what does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like, for so many years, a lot of the people who have won that damn thing have gotten let go. Like, show me that you're going to do something with Carmelo. He was the first round draft pick for a fucking reason. Like, push the guy, use him, put him in a stable, have him win Money in the Bank, something. I totally agree with that. With Theory, I also agree. Same exact thing. Make him more aggressive. I need, like, to that same point, like, not the exact same thing. You don't want to sound like look like a replica, but like 04 Orton, like Legend Killer Orton. I could see that in him if they brought it out of him. I think he has like the right talent to be that guy, because he's just been that undercard, smiling in your face, not going to take him seriously. Like, the fact that he beat John Cena and that at this point means nothing at WrestleMania, no less, is just that feels like it was 10 years ago. Like, it's crazy. I don't know. Yeah, there is something there. I think Heyman could bring it out of him. I hope it goes the way of Roman and people like that, Breaker now, and not the way of like the Curtis Axels and the Rybacks and the Cesaros.
Yeah.
You never know. So who knows?
Brought it back with Ryback.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, listen, Dark Horse, Money in the Bank, Pat McAfee.
Randy.
Listen, that Pat Gunther match is gonna cook. It's gonna be better than what people think. I know Graham is like, get the fuck out of here. But I'm telling you, the Pat Mac. I think the Pat Mac and Gunther is just the killing time for something else for Gunther after that. So I think, and Graham's gonna hate me saying it, but there's a guy that needs one final match to happen, right? In his career, he might get, this might be the precursor to getting Goldberg and Gunther. Something like that has to happen, because I don't see Pat Mac and Gunther going on a 3-month rivalry. It's something else. There's somebody more established needs to come next for Gunther, and then that's the next program. The Pat Mac is just like this right here, right now. We good, but something else is more waiting down the line for Gunther, and I think it might be Goldberg or something more established. So that's my theory on that.
Pun intended.
Randy, sorry, go ahead, Kenny.
No, he said that's my theory on that. I was like, pun intended.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great.
No, I was just gonna say, Randy, you're not gonna believe this, but I 1,000% agree. You know how much I've been saying in the last week since that post WrestleMania Raw and just other shows and stuff like that, how much I'm actually into the idea of Gunther and McAfee, and I've been completely fucking shit on for it. And I understand why people do not like Pat McAfee. I get it. The guy is a goof. I get it. But he has shown before in past matches that the guy can have some fun matches. First of all, Gunther is amazing. And I think Gunther can get a fun match out of him. It should not be a 20-minute competitive classic, obviously. Pat McAfee gets some hope spots. Gunther kills him for 5 minutes. Pat McAfee's beloved. I mean, we could say what we want, but Pat McAfee's beloved by a majority of the casual fans that go to these shows. I just think it works. So you give Gunther a win. It beats him having going in there and losing to, a Jey Uso. Like, if they could do a rematch and have him lose again, that'd be stupid. Like, there's no one really from like Sami Zayn again. Been there, done that. Like, he has to go in there and beat someone that fans care about that can take the loss, and that's Pat McAfee. It's going to be, maybe it takes him off commentary for a week or two. People will be happy about that. So I completely agree. But do you guys agree with that, or do you think the match is completely stupid? I'm curious what you guys think, which I would understand, by the way.
That actually drew out pretty well the way you put it. I'm like, that could actually work. I was against it because I'm like, bro, come on. This is like I'm like, all right, it's not Jerry the King Lawler versus Taz or Raven, but I'm like, you know what? The way you planned that out, I'm like, you know what? That could possibly work.
Okay.
I'm with it. I think we're all fans of Pat Mac and the Gunther match. I think we're all fans of the Logan Paul Jey Uso match. I think that's going to be better than what people think, because Terrence said these two names are so polarizing on social media, because people just hate Logan Paul because they just fucking hate him.
I get it, yeah.
People hate on Uso because they feel like his ring like he don't do enough in the ring. He don't have 1,000 moves. He's not fucking Dean Malenko and all that. He wrestles, and you're not gonna get that super duper champion that's gonna be like very technical and Kurt Angle and Bret Hart. You are gonna get other guys who had the aura, like the Goldbergs, like the Ultimate Warrior. Like they might come in there and do a little boom, and that's it. And that's your champ because the fans are really behind you, and you can't negate that. You can't stop that momentum. If they're gonna put the strap on them, let's see where it goes. So it's like, they've been cheering. They do this every fucking time, and
He's
all
over,
right,
man. Yeah,
he's super over. But at some point in time, like get the guy a chance. Let him get. Somebody say, "Yo, drop the belt to Logan." I'm like, he's not gonna drop the belt to fucking Logan
no,
Paul.
absolutely not. No, I like
that. It just is
Yeah, there's some stupid comment, but yeah, we're good. Randy, what were you saying?
No, I was looking at like,
yeah, no.
Anyway,
well,
go ahead.
I was gonna chime in. I mean, look, as a character, I'm actually a big fan of Logan Paul. We got to keep it a buck, man. The guy, he performs like he came up through the developmental center. You know what I mean? Or like with like the likes of the Usos or something. Like you would think that the guy comes from a wrestling family and he's been doing this since he was like 5 years old. The way he performs, he's even getting better in terms of like the physical storytelling, right? And like figuring out like, oh, okay, here's my spot to make this move. Like, or I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think that fans are getting on him for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Like they just don't like him, which that makes him an even better heel because he's a real life jerk. And when it comes to Jay, we all watched his match at WrestleMania with Gunther. He wrestled Gunther. He won that match. Like, and it was very much a point for him to do it, right? Like that's why he won with the submission. That's why like it was as long of a match as it was. I think the two of them are going to have a banger. I'm not going to say that you completely sold me on Pat Mac. I will say you left me in a better place with it.
That's what I like to hear. There you go.
And Randy, I like your idea of like, okay, if that means Goldberg runs down and we get fucking 10 minutes of pyro and my man's 97 years old and beats on his chest and comes down and spears Gunther to save Pat Mac, I'll take that. If somebody, when they see this on Twitter from the WWE writers room, takes that route and we end up with that, okay, fine.
I tell you this: if it ain't Goldberg, if it's not Goldberg, it's gonna be the other guy. That Gunther wanted a year ago.
Who was that?
Oh no, keep him in the fucking trash for now, Randy.
Who?
Brock Lesnar.
Come on,
Mr.
You want Brock?
Mr. Love Piss himself.
On that note,
that's crazy.
I love me some Brock Lesnar, but no, thank you. Not at this point.
The crowd won't pop for Brock Graham.
It's
Randy,
it's too late.
It's too late. It's never too late.
It's no point in no return,
Never
man.
too
This
late.
is like Doc Brown passing a windmill and
It's
point
never
of no
too late.
return.
Never too late for Mr. LeBrock Lesnar. Never too late.
Randy, until that lawsuit is cleared up, you are just asking for a headache bringing that guy back. You can't. You can absolutely. After that, then sure, maybe we can.
Yeah, after that.
At this point, you know how many questions they'd get fielded about it, and they just wouldn't answer. It just you think about the shitstorm they went through today with the releases. It would be that amplified times 20 if they brought back Brock at this point.
Right,
if they ever brought it back now, they're not going to bring him back until after that shit's over with.
Then I'll settle for Goldberg. Goldberg and Gunther.
What a comment. I won't get Brock, so I'll just settle for 55-year-old Goldberg instead.
It's just one more match. That's all he wants. And I think Goldberg's final match is going to be against Gunther.
And drop someone else on his head?
Or what? It's not
Yes,
Braun Breaker? You want Braun Breaker and Goldberg instead?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Braun will make me go home without a concussion.
Any final words before we get out of here? Because it's about to be 1:00 in the morning East Coast time. And Terrence is what? You're 957 right now, West Coast.
Ooh, that's some good math there, Randy.
That's right. Hey, I went to some school for math twice, so I'm good.
Well, I got a question for you, gentlemen.
All right,
Speaking
let's
of that,
go.
we're talking about all with TKO the prices, and I said earlier, what was looking back now because we're adults? What was the most, I guess, cheapest or the most reasonable ticket, and what event did you buy for your first wrestling event?
That's a very good question. I got to think about that.
Like first or like recent, like
Or recent or one that stands out. Like for me, my first wrestling event my mom's took me to was a house show. It was for King of the Ring 2000. We went to the top of the garden. We was at the last top. Those tickets at the time were $25. $25 to sit at the. We was at the last stop on the.
hold up, 25 cash for King of the Ring 2000.
$25 for per seat. $25 for per seat, and we were at the top. This was 2000.
So you went to King of the Ring 2000.
No. This was like a house.
Oh, the house show leading. Okay.
Yeah, and it was at the Garden, so we paid for that. So 25 for me, my sister, my mother. We went,
Nice.
and yeah, we was all the way at the top, the nosebleeds, and I made signs and everything. That was my first event. So at the time, yeah, $25, 3 tickets. Year 2000, yeah, probably a lot of money. That's when $20 was $20 and $100 was like $1,000. But
That's right.
That's what I remember. That was like one thing that stood out. That was my first event.
I don't know the first event. I would say recently, now
it was
the SmackDown that happened last year at the Garden, 2024 June. The aisle area was like, this is June. I would say between $200 and $250 that ticket was.
Man, that's a big deal.
And this is the Garden, SmackDown, 2-hour show on the floor in the aisle area between $200 and $250 post WrestleMania. I was like, oh, give me that shit, bro. Give me. That's probably the last ticket I saw. I was like, you know what? That's pretty decent. I can fuck with that. Because
Randy,
every price after that has been like, huh?
Was this SmackDown after Mania? It was that SmackDown?
Well, no.
Wow.
Not that one. I'm saying this is a post WrestleMania SmackDown.
Okay.
This is June, going into July. So, and this is when SmackDown was still 2 hours. So for $200, $250 to be on the floor in the aisle area, I was like, you can't beat that.
No.
Okay.
Now, I checked Raw for March in the Garden. They said, "Yo, give me $475." I said, "Yeah, okay." What, for 2 tickets? They said 1. I said, "I can't." And that's Raw. That was Raw with the Netflix 3 hours. I'm like, I get it, but I can't. I'm not doing $450 for no Raw.
T Graham, what about y'all?
I don't remember. Well, I wouldn't know the price. I think the very first show I ever went to was me, my older brother, and my dad. We went to it was a house show in the Garden. I do remember seeing Sean. I do remember seeing Diesel.
Oh wow!
It was
attitude.
It was awesome. It was like the beginning of that too. Like Stone Cold was not a thing yet. You know what I mean? Like, I probably was like this was like the turn of two dudes with attitudes. You know what I'm saying? Like they had just got like become a thing. As a matter of fact, I'm 90% sure Sean had a beard. Like he didn't even shave because it was a house show.
Oh yeah.
I remember thinking, what is going on? Why did Shawn Michaels have a beard? What was happening? And as an adult though, I feel like me and some of the homies from the group chat who always watch the show, Graham, just for context, I live in Portland.
Oh, okay.
And I'm from New York, but my friends that are wrestling fans that are out here, we're in a group chat called Degeneration PDX. I named it. Shout out to my guys. But I also named our group chat Nation of Conversation.
Yeah.
With us
That's
three, you know what
clever.
I'm saying? Shout out to the nation. But yeah, we I think we all bought tickets for somewhere in the 200 but this was again last year. It wasn't this year. It was, I think, before Netflix deal. We went to SmackDown, I want to say. And I think we went to a SmackDown and we went to a Raw. We probably paid like somewhere in the 250 for like really good seats.
Yeah.
That's
But those days might be over.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was actually, while you guys were talking too, I was trying to find. I went to my first Mania only in 2017 in Orlando, so I was trying to find how much I paid for it exactly. I was trying to find the email, and it says I paid for 2 tickets, like collectively, not individually, $417. So that means individually it was probably, I don't know, $200. I mean, with fees and shit, probably less than that. I mean, that won't even get you a fucking seat in the bathroom at, a Vegas Mania, whatever, ridiculous. They won't even get you a ticket to TakeOver now or something like that. It's just
It's crazy, man.
But that, I will say, I remember just as a kid, because I wasn't buying the tickets to go to shows and stuff, but I do remember, I don't know how much they were costing, 20 years ago, but they had a show. This is the craziest shit. And no one will remember this because it was like only local to like the Connecticut Northeast area. In 2010, when Linda McMahon was running for Senate, I think for the first time or something like that, which first of all is wild in and of itself, just fucking bizarre. Maybe not overly surprising in retrospect. But because she was running for Senate at that point and her opponents were understandably bashing her in the media and stuff like that, WWE held an event called Fan Appreciation Day to kind of like thank the fans in Connecticut or something like that for having to like sit through wrestling, being brought through the mud and whatever. It was very strange. But they did a show here in Connecticut. It was like a house show, but they did it for free. It was a free show that you can go to that had Cena on the card, Taker, Kane, Triple H wrestled a match.
Wow.
I think it's against Alberto Del Dipshit or something or whatever it was.
Wow.
They had a whole fucking it was
Wow.
crazy. But it was a free show though, and they packed the place of like, I don't know, 10,000 people for a free house show. This company won't give you shit for free now. They won't even give you a fucking business card for free. So I guess in retrospect, that's a pretty wild thing. But it was cool though. It was a fun time to be there as a high school fan or whatever it was. So yeah. That's pretty insane. They would never do that today.
Nah, never.
That's
No,
gone.
never.
That ain't gone.
Sorry. Those were the days, Graham. Those were the days. Back in days, you get shit for free. Now it's
they doing a t-shirt, you got to pay for it.
Nothing. I want the Netflix. I want the subscribers. I want the tickets. I want the merch. I want the food. I want the this. I want that. I want Peacock. I want everything.
I want the WWE network back. At least we would have one streaming service that was for one price. But guess what? No ads. No ads at all. And we would have, guess what? All the content.
And Netflix don't have nothing up. I haven't
Netflix got nothing, dude. It's been there for months and they haven't added shit. It's the same thing they had when.
So is it still on Peacock? The stuff?
Yeah. Well, Peacock still has it, but it's nothing like the network.
Oh no.
No, so like Raw's not on Peacock. The old Raws are not on Peacock.
Yeah,
they're just gone.
SmackDown and
just SmackDowns. Yeah, and the pay-per-views.
Oh man,
they're just gone. Like Raw, they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll put it on Netflix eventually." Bro, they haven't added a single fucking episode aside from the new ones. It's like I just watched the show. Why would I want to watch it again? It just makes no sense. To think that we only could pay $9.99, they boasted about that a lot. We would pay one price for literally everything, and then we go backwards. We have to pay more for less. I mean, that's just the way that corporate America works. I guess that's just how the world works, but it's still annoying nonetheless.
So last question. So what's worse, that whole thing that we don't have all the old school episodes on Netflix, or Travis Scott taking a half hour to walk down the ramp at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I think you got to pick. It's a no-brainer there, bro.
I'm sorry, the hardcore champion Travis Scott, by the way.
Oh my god!
I mean, I think he's still walking down the ramp.
That's what I heard.
He's still walking down the ramp, and I think Hunter's still doing his Hall of Fame speech.
And Booker T is still taking a nap.
Booker
T with
my bad, Book. He was praying, is what he said.
He was
Yeah, Jay was knocked out. Bailey looked like she was about to fall asleep.
Oh my God, yo, that's crazy. Listen, I don't want to take up much of your time, Grant. We love you, man. We appreciate you for doing this. Listen, the invite is always there. When you want to do a little cameo, a little running like you did on a Monday night or Friday night, let us know. Probably gonna do Monday night, and obviously Backlash Saturday. I want to do it, but now since the Knicks advance in the playoffs, they're playing at home against Boston. Hey, be quiet. Against Boston on Saturday night. Kenny is a Detroit Pistons fan, and the Knicks beat the Pistons in the playoffs, so he's still a little salty about that. But they play Boston at home on the 10th, but it's just a matter of time, like 3:30 or 8:30. So I want to do the show at the Backlash. Just depends if they have us working that day at all and the time. So if you're around for Backlash, post, no invite needed. You can just hop on whenever you want.
I appreciate it, boss. I'll pull up if Pat McAfee beats Gunther. We have a lot to talk about there. I'll take back everything I said about praising it. So that's not going to happen. But
Pat Mac would not be winning against Gunther.
Mostly, I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen.
Probably by DQ, outside interference. Goldberg.
That's also bad. That would also be Goldberg makes the running.
That's right. Or Brock. Grant Matthews, Terrence Watson, Kenny Holt. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I know what's happening soon, sometime next week, and I'll catch you guys on Monday after Raw, right?
Yeah,
good.
Yes, sir. We out.
Take care.